And we are live. Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, wherever you are. I'm coming in from Alaska. My guest today is not in Alaska, so there's a big time difference. But my name is Melody McAllister, and I thank you so much for joining me every week for our book chats. I'm in a huge writing community, and I love to feature my friends who are also authors. And today, one of my favorite authors in the whole entire world, my close friend, Alice Keeler, and her beautiful daughter, Bacon. Hey, guys. Hey,
Hey.
gals. So you guys just moved cross country. How's it going?
Oh, I love it here. It's been so great. I wasn't, someone's like, hey, you want to move to Kansas? I think, I don't know. I live in California. It's hard to beat that, but I am loving it here.
Awesome. You look very happy, and you started orientation this week and you're a new job. So you've got a lot of adventure waiting for you.
There has been so much adventure. So we moved, and I'm trying to do the new job, and of course, all the other things. So I don't get a lot of sleep right now.
Right. You and 10,000 others. Yes. I think you're in the same boat as so many. So I appreciate that you took a little bit of time today to join me today. I really, really do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for my Instant Pot to finish cooking, making some carnitas. So we're, just put that down in the chat. With private chat. So you have to share alicekeeler.com/carnitas.
Right. And this is, if you don't know Alice, which very few people don't, because she is a very well known in the education circles. She posts her Instapot. I'm gonna put that in there. You have to.
I brought one Instant Pot with me to Kansas, but you see it's the R2D2 one.
I can't see it very well. You're a little. Yeah, you're a tiny bit pixelated.
It's plugged in and it's got meat in it.
Nice. Meat is good. Is good. All right. Well, let's get to why we are here today also. So I love your newest book, 50 or Stepping Up to Google Classroom, 50 Steps for Beginners to Get Started. Can you tell us, I'm going to just jump right in. Why did you write this book?
I feel like, a step-by-step guide is really helpful. Like, just less words, like here's how you do it, and really walking through the pedagogy of how to get started. I don't know about your school, but I feel like my school is just infamous for like, here's some tools, use them. And like, okay, well, how do I use them for teaching and not just how to, I know you don't plug in Google Classroom, but it's just plug it in and go. It's like, no, you got to think about how you're going to interact, and you don't use digital tools the way you do in a face-to-face classroom. So you're not born knowing how to use Google Classroom. So just want to get some easy tips out there to get you going.
I love it. And in fact, I have to honestly, to be completely transparent, I was good at setting up a Google Classroom and getting it going, but I really struggled having a purpose for it and using it regularly. So I am absolutely in love with this book, because I do have another one of your books, but it's for people that are a little bit more advanced than I am, because you've written several books, and that's why I put it on the bottom, alicekeeler.com/books, because if you're not a beginner and this isn't for you, you have written several books for all types of levels.
That is one thing that you and I discuss, is you want to promote my new book, which I want to promote my new book. There's a lot of people who are new to using Google Classroom, but if you've been using Google Classroom, this is not the book for you to go. Go with my red one, A Student-Centered Approach, going further. Now that you've got the basics down, how do we put a focus back on the kids?
And that's why I love your books too. You are always about preserving the social emotional aspects of teaching. And I have found some amazing gems. And I could turn to them right now, just like asking questions. And I've written about this, but you say when you're asking questions, even in Google Classroom, it's like you have to model that. It says in a typical class, when we ask a question, we only hear from the same handful of students. Right? Asking a question digitally allows all students to actively participate. So even in digital forms, what I love about this is that you're reaching every student. It's not just about the students who like to talk or who feel confident about expressing themselves. You're reaching students who are a little bit more introverted or feel a little bit less confident. Do you want to say anything about that?
Absolutely. And even when you're face-to-face consistently, I wanted to use a digital tool to ask a question, because I get to hear from every student. And if you look at the research on wait time, Do you remember when you were in teacher credential school and they told you how long you should wait? I bet you don't even remember. I don't remember. But research shows we don't even wait that long. We only wait 1 to 1.5 seconds. That's not enough time for your brain to process. And then we're still talking about the average amount of time someone needs to process it. But a lot of us are really good thinkers, and we need some time. That's one of my favorite Joe Bowler quotes. Is there's being fast is not the same as being smart. Right? Being fast is not the same as being smart. And when I read that, that really resonated with me because I was terrible at time math tests. I couldn't do this. In fact, if you ask me a question, I feel like I'm on the spot and it's fight or flight, right? The teacher asks a question and I'm, no, and then you don't want to feel dumb. You just give me some time to think about it. And I'd rather have a thoughtful answer than a quick answer. So finding any kind of a digital tool to hear from students is amazing. Google Classroom makes it quick and easy because you just go to the create button and click question, and you can do it as multiple choice or free response. Now, new to Google Classroom that was literally like days after the book got published is the ability to do, when you create an assignment, there's a create button for the teacher, you can create Google Slides. So what I would like everyone to do is every time you have some sort of video meeting with your students, or even if you're face-to-face, you create Google Slides. They could be totally blank, but you give the students edit access. So the default in Google Classroom is students can view. You're going to click on that and change it to the middle option. I like to say it's like a hamburger. The good stuff's in the middle, and it's students can edit file or collaborate. That middle option is collaborate. So when we're on a video chat, I want to always have a Google Slides because it allows students to ask questions or to answer a question on the slides. And the chat's good, but it's different, right? So this would be something that I can share my screen, share student responses, and we can have class discussion around student input rather than just who's willing to speak up. They can put it on a slide. Or I just ask a question, whatever it is, I say add a slide, and then I present the slides and we go through everybody's ideas. And it really helps me with wait time because I can see they're still writing and working on it, which is way longer than 5 seconds, just so you know. I would love to do a new research study and to debunk the wait time that they advise us to do, because I have never once found that all my students could participate in 5 seconds.
Right, completely. And for those students who are used to not being called on, they get in the habit of knowing that the teacher's just going to move on. So it's not even worth thinking about. So I support you in finding that study.
This is obviously going to, who knows what she's going to say. What do you like about Google Classroom? Just thinking about it. She's 10. You got Google Classroom set up today?
No. Well, I got Google. Yes, I have. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do any work in it, but you got it set up?
I got it set up.
So we're here in Kansas, but the kids are going to school in California. California closed down, and so if you're doing remote learning, you can do it remote from anywhere. So she's doing her California work here in Kansas, and isn't that really the beauty of using Google Classroom? I'm sure she's like, I don't know. But, if she was at the California house or she's here at our new house, she's able to still interact with and do things with her teacher.
Right. It's awesome. Well, kudos to you, Bacon. I hope that you'll share with us what it's like for you as a student on Google Classroom. But we'll give you some more wait time.
You want to think about it?
What was the question?
What do you like about using Google Classroom?
Well, I like that it's simple and easy, and it's easy to understand.
It's a good reason. That's one of the things I like about it too. I feel like less is more. There's some products that will not be named that I just get in there and I don't even know what to click on. There's so many things. And Google Classroom has added stuff over the years, and it's I just like to keep it simple. How am I interacting with kids? How am I getting feedback faster? So one of my tips is I want you to turn on, I know this is highly contentious, turn on show attachments and details. So you click on the settings cog in the upper right, and then you go down to the settings, and the default is condensed notifications. It's like drinking condensed milk. That's gross. Don't want condensed notifications. I feel like universally no one likes that. And so people want to turn it off. I'm like, no. Don't turn it off. Make it bigger. So when you click on it, it's again the middle option because the good stuff's in the middle. And you can switch it from show condensed notifications to show attachments and details. And then what I do at the end of each day, I decompress, and I go to the stream in Google Classroom, and I start to scroll. And I can see on any of the assignments, it shows the full assignment, and it shows me if anyone turned it in. So if it's 1, 2, 3 students have turned it in, I click on that. I want to interact with them now. Google Classroom allows me to do some paradigm shifts. If I wait till everyone's done, and if I wait till everyone turns it in, well, the kids who had turned it in early, they've moved on. They don't care anymore. And then they think like, oh, she's so slow. When I'm quick to interact with students, when it appears that I'm paying attention to the course, the kids are more engaged in the class, especially when we're doing it remotely. So I say, did anyone turn anything in? And then it shows me class comments. You cannot see the class comments on the stream. You cannot see them if you do not have show attachments and details. And that to me is a really big deal. Does a student have a question on this assignment? Now, yes, I can find the class comments by clicking over on the classwork page, and I look at the stripes, and the assignment stripes have a little tiny number on it that shows that there's a class comment. But I don't know what the comment is or if it's worth like all the effort to open it. So I click on the stripe, it expands out. I have to scroll the description. It says in very small words, class comments. I click on that and it pops up into a pop-up window, only to find out a kid said, cool. Right? I appreciate that you said that, but that was a lot of effort to read it. So when I'm scrolling the stream, my highlight of my day is not grading. The highlight of my day is interacting with students and seeing that they're engaged in my class. I think we heard a lot of frustration this last 3 months, the end of school, the kids aren't engaged in the class. We can't get them to sign in. And one way that you can help them to want to sign in is for them to feel like you're going to be responsive to them. There's a purpose for them to be. There's no magic bullet. I'm saying this helps. They make a comment. Right. I notice. I make a comment back. I update my directions. I change my assignments because I'm like, okay, that was confusing. Let's try something else. So at the end of the day, it's like, who can I interact with? What questions can I answer? How can I support my students? So this really is the best part of my day is like class comments. Anyone say anything? And I can answer it right on the stream because I can see it right on the stream without 5 million clicks. And I scroll down looking for kids to post things, looking to see if anyone turned anything. And I don't scroll all of it. I just do like the last week or 2 weeks to see if they've interacted within the last few assignments.
Right. And you've given us so much information, but if you're watching this and you have no idea what Alice just said, I just want you to know that I am right there with you. I mean, I can only follow in bits and pieces. That's why I need this book. But I also want to interject. This is also good for parents. I love parents, and I think that we should do everything we can to include parents for student success, even if they're in high school, middle school. It doesn't matter if how old they are. Here's the thing that a lot of parents told me. They don't understand Google Classroom. They want to help their kids, especially secondary parents, but they don't know how because their kids are already off and doing it, but they know they still need to check in. They still need to make sure their kids are participating in the Google Classroom and all their assignments are turned in. So I want to say for the parents watching, this is good for you too. It's very thin. It's not a lot of work. You don't have to read it from front to back. If you have a question about something specific, you can find it very easily. And then you might feel more confident to ask your child's teacher a question that uses the common language of technology in classroom with that teacher. So I would recommend this book to not just beginning teachers, but also, or actually teachers beginning level of technology, because it doesn't matter how long you've taught. You could be at any sort of level in technology experience. But I would also recommend this to parents because I feel like it takes down the walls of language barriers. And we still need to be checking in on our secondary students and being with them as we go through this virtual space or hybrid learning. So I just wanted to interject that. I hope that's okay.
Of course, of course. So I will add that my strategy for what the heck is happening right now. I feel like my school is like, well, maybe tomorrow we won't come to school. And I hear this from a lot of schools. They're like, are we coming back? I don't know if we're coming back. And we're all in a bit of a limbo. So my advice is to treat your class like it's remote, even if it's not. If tomorrow you go hybrid, tomorrow you go remote, and you're not right now, or vice versa, your routines are the same. So I want you to post everything in Google Classroom, whether or not it's digital, that they're in the habit. They walk in the door, they check Google Classroom. That way, if tomorrow we don't show up to school or whatever, they're in the habit to go check Google Classroom, and now you have a communication tool. Just having a consistent system that would work whether or not you're face-to-face.
I love that. I think that's great. And then it works whether you're, if you're hybrid or you go back. I mean, virtual and then you go back. I love that. It's great. Great advice. What are some other projects you're working on? How, you're doing 10,000 million things right now. I know that's not a real number, but you know what I'm saying.
10,000 million things. So I'm always doing a lot of coding, and you roll your eyes at me that it's too much. But did you see my slides table of contents that I made? You're going to like this.
Okay.
On Facebook, and someone was saying, in Google Docs, slides TOC. Okay. AliceKeeler.com/slides TOC. So I was saying, in Google Docs, you can create a table of contents that takes all the headings out of your Google Doc and puts it up at the top so that you can navigate easily through the document. Well, I know a lot of teachers are creating interactive lessons in Google Slides. And so you're going to need to have this hyperlinked text to say, jump to the different sections of the lesson in the Google Slides, or some of them are using an interactive notebook. So someone asked on Facebook, and I'm like, no. But I think I could code that. So a few hours later, I posted back. So if you go to AliceKeeler.com/slides TOC, so slides table of contents, it has a template in it for, the code's in there. You can just copy and paste slides you already have in it. But when you run it, it's going to grab the titles of all of the slides and hyperlink them into buttons for you on a table of contents slide.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did see that. That's in our Facebook group, correct?
Of course.
Yes.
It was my
That's really cool.
Our Facebook group that I saw somebody saying that. That's what I do with my Facebook group. I troll it for ideas. There's a problem here. No, you can't do that yet. And that's what my idea of a good time is, sitting down and coding. And then I've noticed, maybe you've noticed this, a trend recently, like in the last week, of people having to turn in lesson plans. And they're like, okay, well, I'm putting it in Google Classroom, and I also have to turn in lesson plans. And so that one's a conundrum for me, because every school has their own template and their own way to do the lesson plans. But then I thought about, really even parents and students need to know, what is it that we're doing recently? So I'm working on this. It's almost working. It's working. It's almost there. I have a button in my AliceKeeler.com/reusegc. I have a lot of these. I have a ton of this stuff. Everything's AliceKeeler.com. Reusegc. Okay, so the AliceKeeler.com/reusegc is your hub for your Google Classroom. And I keep adding more features, which is another great reason why I think you should make a new class every 6 weeks or every unit, because then you'd have to make a new AliceKeeler.com/reusegc so you can get all my updates. So part of the AliceKeeler.com/reusegc is it'll reuse multiple Google Classroom assignments from a previous class, a bunch of them at once. That's one of the things it does. Another thing that it does is it'll make a Google Slides for you, where it puts every student's name on a slide and puts it in Classroom with edit access, so you can't mess that up. And it will auto score them, give the kids full credit by default, so you don't have to do so much typing. And it will, oh gosh, I got a bunch of things in there. But the thing that I'm talking about here is it will allow you to take the assignments that you have and push it to a Google Slides where it's hyperlinked to the assignment.
Nice.
So you can at least start with, here's my lesson plans somewhat, and share it with parents or students or whoever.
That is so cool. I love that you do so much. I mean, this kind of goes on with my next question, but you do a lot for the educator community for like if you're following your Facebook page or if you're in our Facebook group, you're following on Twitter, you're getting all of this. You don't have to pay anything for it. Like you're just putting it out there and it's benefiting so many people. Did you see the comment that said thank you so much for this?
Yeah, thank you. And then
Yeah, like
I know that you sent me a note that you liked my newsletter this week. I never think it's that good, so I appreciate that.
yeah, I do. And how can we sign up for your newsletter? Your newsletter was great this week because you were super real about everything that you were feeling, no sugarcoating. And I think that
Never
there
get.
are all of us that are feeling like about that. What?
I said you never get sugarcoating from me, right? I was raised in the woods of Alaska by wolves.
That's kind of cool. And if you don't know, hardly who would know this about us, but I actually live in the town that you were raised for the first 12 years of your life, correct?
Only partially correct. I moved there when I was 6 and I left when I was 12. So I lived there for 7 years.
Okay, but and I have got to experience some of your life because you showed me around, and we do pass by your childhood home. It's pretty darn cool. I'm like, that's where Alice, that's where she lived. It's so cool. But the cool thing is, you know about the stuff that I have to live through, and you laugh. You like it.
I do like it. I want to move back to Alaska, and then you're like giving me, you're making fun of me. You're like, it's gonna be cold in Kansas. I'm like, you live in Alaska, Melody. You live in Alaska. I lived in Seattle. I've lived in Alaska, and I've lived in California for the last 25 years. So I'm like, just great people here, and that's all you need. Don't you think you have great people there?
I do. There's great people here, and I will say that I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Northwest Missouri. I spent the first 20 years of my life in St. Joseph, Missouri, and I have to say that there's great people all over the Midwest, including Kansas. I spent a lot of summers in Kansas with my relatives.
I'm not going to show you my foot right now, but it's covered in mosquito bites, so there would be the downside.
And there's that too. Do you guys still have lightning bugs there?
I have not seen any lightning bugs.
It's a lightning bug.
Okay, see, boom. Lightning bugs or fireflies?
Oh, no.
So do you want to, I'll find the link to
Yes.
the group.
You know what? I think it is, I'm sorry, and I was going to do that already. I think that it is Teacher Tech, like it's Facebook groups.
Hey, Teacher Tech or something like that. So
This is my friend Yolanda, so I will invite her.
AK Teacher Tech. You made it.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it right now. Talk a little bit while I find it.
I put it in the chat. I found it.
Oh, you did? Okay. You're awesome.
So yeah, if they go to aliceo.com/newsletter, I link to the Facebook group often and other things that I'm doing, like a lot of my webinars. And if you want to go to my YouTube channel, it's of course everything is aliceo.com, all of it, aliceo.com/YouTube. So I've been doing a bunch of webinars. Some of them are free, some of them are not. And some of them I put out for free on my YouTube channel.
Yes. And I want to say, Yolanda, thank you so much for watching. She's my friend, and I'll invite you so that you don't have to search it or anything like that. Yes. And here is your YouTube. I'm slowly putting it in there. I do like your YouTube. I'm very familiar with your YouTube channel. I go there just like, I didn't even know how to do the calendar, the Gmail calendar, and I learned how to navigate that. And now I feel like a pro. So
I'm trying to start making videos. So let's see how he does. He definitely, is starting. And that's the trick, y'all. Just start. Just, and he'll get better. And I'm not great. I get better.
Yes, Rochelle, you are also my friend, but you're also in the group. Yes, Rochelle, thank you for watching. Wait, who are you? I cut out. Who are you trying to make YouTube videos?
Oh, I'm making Barton make YouTube videos.
Oh.
He is an English teacher. He's been an English teacher for the last few years. And before that, he was a middle school social science teacher. His degree is in history. So I'm like, you've been using Google Classroom and all of these other things like Common Lit that I wouldn't use because I'm a math teacher. He has things to share. I'm like, why don't you make YouTube videos about it? So I finally convinced him that he's willing to. And so be on the lookout for that. I'm uploading his videos to my YouTube channel.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Brave. because it's hard to
Yes,
put yourself out there.
it is. It really is. And Barton, when he tells stories, he really gets into it. Like he's very animated.
So
I
yeah, I've got a playlist. I have a playlist on there for Barton, so you can check it out.
Awesome. Great deal. So that's how you can follow Alice. And I want to put her YouTube. I'll put it up again. There's her YouTube channel and her newsletter. Wait, this is her Facebook group. And it's an amazing group. If you're watching, because I put this into the group, if you're watching, I got to say, this Facebook group is amazing. So helpful. Teachers always helping each other. We're celebrating each other, sharing resources. It's like the Google for teachers. Like, hey, I need to know about this. And 10 million people give their feedback.
I almost never can. I do respond, but I almost never can. I open up 26 people who answered before me. Consistent.
Right. But I like it that you're still involved a lot because, you know, your name's on there. I mean, you know, like we know that we're going to go there and get some help with technology, and you actually do participate quite a bit.
So I can make things for you. So I do that.
Right. And this is how to get on her newsletter. And a lot of us, we don't like newsletters, but I got to say that I read Alice's newsletters. It's very helpful. And she's got these really cool purple buttons on them that you could just click and get help you need. Alice, do you think that parents would benefit too by going to your newsletter? Would that help them understand the language?
Teachers are so jargony.
I know. If I can do anything to help parents understand and help their kids, I want to do that.
Letter for parents. Let's do it. You and me will do once a month parent support, you know, for ed tech. We've given them some tips and things to look at. That's what we talked about with Holly Clark and her book. The Chromebook Infused Classroom is her newest one. You know, and she's really pointing out how, you know, this is good for, you started it, but how it's good for parents to just even know what to look for. You know, like what kinds of things should your kids be doing with Flipgrid? Which, by the way, Flipgrid came out with a bunch of new features this week, and it's very exciting. Side by side with a whiteboard. What?
It's awesome. I think this is a great time to be a teacher. And if we were going to have a pandemic, thank God we have all of this wonderful technology to help support
I was saying,
us
like,
in the classroom.
The 1918 Spanish flu. Like,
thanks, Yolanda. I like purple too.
Well, just wait because I'm getting a purple couch right here. So
nice.
I just moved here and I'm bringing stuff over from California. So right now I have no couch. This is like literally the only chair in the house.
Oh, you poor thing. I'm sorry. And your spirits are so high.
I got my fire pit came in. So I have like a wicker couch thing in the backyard with a fire pit. So actually, what else do I need?
Exactly. So we're getting to the end of our time, and I didn't put this up in time, but you can follow Alice on her YouTube. I'll go back over these really quick. And just if you go to YouTube, you don't have to have this link. Just put Alice Keeler. It'll come right up. You can get into our Facebook group if you're an educator. It's a wonderfully supportive group. And if anybody's watching, y'all are amazing. And if you want to get her newsletter, if you're an educator and you want to stay in touch with her newest, she always puts out all the new codes that she's writing, and she shares a lot with us. So definitely sign up for that newsletter. And also on the ticker on the bottom, just go to alicekeeler.com/books. This is my favorite book so far, okay? Because I would classify myself as a beginner, but she's got books for all levels. And so if you're not a beginner and you want something deeper, she's got it, okay? So visit that. And thank you so much, both you and Bacon, for joining us today. You guys are amazing.
Bacon has been putting all of the furniture together. I can't show it because, you know, I got this iMac that can't be turned, but I got the table and the microwave carts and things, and she's been screwing bolts together. That's my 10-year-old.
That's awesome, Bacon. I'm proud of you too. I know that's like, who cares? I don't even know you, but just joking. But anyway, thank you both for joining us. And I'm so glad that you're settling into your new home in a very positive way and surrounded by people who really care about you. And we care about you too. And we hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining in, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Wave, Bacon, wave.